All right, everybody. So, we are going to be going over something very, very interesting. Now, I don't know exactly how this is going to go, so I don't want you guys to get your hopes up and start, coming up with conclusions to how this entire thing is going to end up in your mind, because I don't want you guys to start getting, too lost in the sauce in some imaginary scenario here. We're going to be watching a video by a content creator named Eli Erlick. E-R-L-I-C-K. Now, from my understanding, this is somebody who Blaire White, who you guys should all know. I'm not gonna sit here and explain who Blaire White is. If you guys want to know, really all you need to know about Blaire White, look up Blaire White is a grifter proof, and just look at all the evidence. My favorite has to be when she faked her political compass test results to her audience, just definitively faked her political compass test results, because she actually got a bottom left, libertarian left result, just barely, but she knew her fans would get really mad if she was a trans woman who is a little bit left leaning, so she had to replace the political compass result with one that gave her a libertarian right result. And the way that we know this is because when you do a political compass test, whatever result you get, the URL to that page with the result is the same every time. So if you and I took a political compass test and put in the exact same answers to every single question, we would not only get the same answer, the same result on our political compass test, but the URL to that result would be exactly the same. So to see Blaire White's page for her results yourself, all you have to do is type in the URL. Her URL led to one that was a bottom left green quadrant, libertarian left result, when the one she displayed on screen was a bottom right quadrant libertarian right result. Here's where it gets funnier, though. If you pay real close attention to Blaire White's hotbar in that video, you can literally see a tab that she has open. That's a Google Images tab where you can just barely see that she typed libertarian political compass test result. So that alone, I feel like really just kind of in one general broad image puts who and what Blaire White is into complete perspective. What she wants to do with her platform, what her goals are, what drives her and motivates her. I think we know. I think we can put two and two together here. Anyway, apparently she's getting sued. And frankly, she probably deserves it, considering that Blaire White has been making her career for about the last 2 years now, maybe a little bit more, just calling pretty much every single trans woman specifically, usually trans women. She doesn't typically beat on trans men, because there's really not much the right has. The general transphobic right doesn't necessarily have a preset dialogue tree of violent propaganda to use towards trans men, because it's a lot harder to prey on cis people's innate disgust and fear responses when we're talking about someone that the average transphobe would perceive as a woman. It's really just, that's how it is, right? So the most you'll really get out of your traditional transphobe is infantilization, right? You'll get the more sort of fleshed out propaganda that's anti-trans man from TERFs, because they're the ones who have the very oh yeah, trans men are women who are just trying to escape womanhood so they don't have to be predated on by men, or they're traitors who are trying to benefit from the patriarchy, right? Just shit like that, right? Regardless though, Blaire White just absolutely loves calling any trans woman left of her who is any more progressive than her a groomer or a potential child predator, whatever it may be, right? That is her go-to, because, well, the same reason that every conservative lately has been doing it, because if you tell... So, out of all the groups of people in our society, most people, unfortunately right now, aren't even in favor of punching Nazis. No. You can't punch Nazis just for what they believe. You can't do that. No. That's anti-free speech. However, A lot of people who would say exactly that are completely fine with, like, mass killing pedos. That's interesting to me because Blaire White and a lot of the right know this because a lot of them say things such as pedos and the wood chipper and whatnot. They are very big believers of that idea, right? That, like, yeah, they at least they say they are. A lot of them themselves are child predators on the right, but, you know, they'll virtue signal if they want to kill pedos and whatnot. Regardless, though, they know that most of society is so anti-pedo that if you accuse a certain group of being pro-pedo, or of being pedos themselves, or groomers, or just people who want to harm and take advantage of children, then you can basically justify violence against them, or spread propaganda that justifies violence against them without outright having to say it. Most, like, the average boomer griller dad, if he found out that there was a pedophile living next door, would, like, go handle it, you know, or he'd want to go handle it, you know. I think you guys can kind of imagine the type of mindset the average person has when they find out, like, somebody's a pedo. So when you have these right-wing demagogues saying the trans community, the LGBT community, the gay community, whatever it may be, are all a bunch of pedo groomers who are trying to groom children, it's very obvious what these people are trying to do. Blaire White does this as well, but she tries to do this very pseudo, like she's not willing to, like, fully, like, lock herself down on it, right? Like, who remembers that one debate she did with the crazy blonde Nazi lady who was like, the best thing you can do is just grow out your beard and call yourself a man and just be honest to the world, or some shit like that. And Blaire just spent the entire time in response to that going, no, I'm not like one of the crazy trans activists you don't like. I'm one of the good ones. I'm one of the good ones. And the lady just kept on hurling abuse and transphobia her way. And Blaire's response was just keep on, like, doing puppy dog eyes and begging for some sort of, like, affirmation. It was really painful to watch, but it gives you an idea of who we're talking about here. Regardless, Blaire White likes to throw a lot of unsubstantiated pot shots and accusations of groomer, pedophile, child predator, what have you, at a lot of people, particularly trans people online. So it's only a matter of time, I figured, before something like this happens. We're suing Blaire White. You better believe I'll be linking this video in the chat, as on both sides, you know, my website chat and YouTube chat and Twitch chat, and linking in the description of the video, because I want you guys to go to this video and drop a lot of support on it. Obviously, public support doesn't necessarily mean a lot to a lawsuit. Like, it's not going to, like, convince the jury or anything like that. But it really does help if you're trying to take legal action against a very large public figure. Having, like, people telling you you're doing the right thing and offering support really does mean a lot. So that's what I want you guys to do. Drop kind comments, leave support, all of that stuff. Let me turn my camera a little bit. Nice. Anyway, let's get into it. We're suing Blaire White.
We're suing Blaire White. Here's why. Hi, my name's Eli. I'm a writer, activist, and graduate student. I'm also a trans woman and the subject of one of Blaire White's latest videos. If you're here, you probably already know who Blaire White is. She's the notorious trans YouTuber that promotes far-right conspiracy theories and chronically defames trans people. Her video...
I feel like the best example isn't even this one. This was from the Janae Marie Kroc thing, right? Like, the Janae Marie Kroc thing is a really good example of Blaire White lying and slandering somebody, but she apologized for it when the heat came down, enough for her fans and her to kind of shrug it off as one single mistake on an otherwise extremely clean timeline. In reality, there is a million other worse or just about as bad things that Blaire White has done in regards to lying that she just hasn't been caught for. The really good one that I love bringing up as well, I feel like I always bring it up, is the Canadian Cancer Society one. God, this one was so fucking shameless. Oh my God, I can't believe she did this. This shit was shameless, dude. Holy fuck. This unironically has to be one of the most scummy things Blaire has ever done, because there's absolutely no way stupidity can explain it away. It is without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, 100% malice that she did this with, and it actually could hurt people because she's got a massive audience of young trans women that look up to her, because there aren't a lot of other large trans women that are content creators on YouTube to look up to. Anyway, let me show you guys this. So Blaire White did a video that was all about making fun of how crazy these trans activists are for believing that they could supposedly get cervical cancer, right? And so she makes this video like, oh, these crazy trans activists think that they can get cervical cancer. Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? God, think with common sense, guys. Isn't that crazy? How could anyone claim this? She finishes off the like bit in that video by showing this page from the Canadian Cancer Society, this exact page. As a trans woman, do I need to get screened for cervical cancer? I'm going to highlight the bit that she showed. She cut off the text right here. You are about to realize why that is relevant. This is what she showed to back up her point. If you're a trans woman, you may not have given much thought to Pap tests and cervical cancer, and if you haven't, that makes a fair amount of sense. After all, in order to get cervical cancer, you need to have a cervix. That is the organ that connects the vagina to the uterus. If you're a trans woman and have not had bottom surgery, you aren't at risk of cervical cancer. She just showed this. I read that when she showed it on screen and assumed, wait a second, why does it say if you're a trans woman and have not had bottom surgery, you're not at risk? Wait, let's check out this page. So I just searched the exact text to find this exact page and read the one paragraph right after where she cut the text for her video, where it says, if, however, you're a trans woman who has had bottom surgery to create a vaginoplasty, and possibly a cervix, there's a very small risk that you can develop cancer in the tissues of your neovagina or neocervix. The risk depends on the type of surgery you had and the type of tissue used to create your vagina and cervix and your personal health history. Talk to your healthcare provider to figure out your specific cancer screening needs as part of your overall pelvic health following surgery. So, Blaire White made a video responding to a TikTok where she calls the people in the TikTok crazy trans activists for telling people who watch the TikTok who've had bottom surgery and are trans that they should in fact get tests to make sure they don't have cancer in their neovagina. She responds to that by calling them crazy and wild, shows that those two paragraphs and kind of implies that there is no scenario where trans women can get cervical cancer, and then you look at the exact paragraph beneath where she cut it, and it says, although yes, you can and you should get checked. So yeah, pretty fucked. The problem is proving defamation is really hard because you have to prove malice and intent, and you also have to prove that what was said had a demonstrable negative impact on, say, your business, for example, or like a massive demonstrable impact on your mental health and like your life. So we'll see how it goes. It's really hard to sue people for defamation or libel or anything like that in America because we've got such strong protections for free speech.
Trans people. Her videos have caused immense harm to our communities, and I think it's time we start pushing back. That's why we want to turn Blaire White into the next Alex Jones. Since she started making videos in 2015, Blaire has sold out her own community for brand deals and
Of course, Blaire White took an established titles spot. Do you think she's made a video talking about established titles, defending herself, or apologizing about that? Or do you think she just kind of silently took down her established titles sponsored video or videos? For those that don't know, established titles is a scam. Hold on, Blaire White. If she hasn't uploaded anything about it, then she just took the videos down or left them up in hopes no one noticed. Balenciaga, reacted. Yep, nope, she hasn't talked about it at all. How much do you want to bet she took it down? Ooh, damn. So Blaire White's video is called Exposing Eli Ehrlich, Trans Predator with Leaked Texts DMs. Okay, so basically Blaire White's video is straight up called Exposing a Trans Predator. So literally alleging a crime here. So falsely alleging crime? That is something that there may be grounds to sue for here. That actually makes Eli's case a lot better.
Celebrity among far-right outlets. More recently, she's made a huge profit in her series of video attacks on trans teachers, parents, and children. Actual children. The more outrageous her videos are, the more she stands to earn from them. Blaire's videos have caused mass harassment campaigns against vulnerable people all over the world. I personally
True.
received hundreds of harassing comments, misgendering messages, and straight up death threats since she made her video against me. But this isn't.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and we need to stop pretending like there is any other scenario that is where this isn't the case, okay? 60+% of Blaire White fans are transphobic cis guys jacking off to her videos. That is a thing that is happening. You know that because a lot of the people who come out to attack anyone Blaire White goes against are literally transphobic. Like, not transphobic, but like they think Blaire White is valid. No. If you even stop to like read some of the comments that were flashed on screen there for a second, the Blaire White fans were literally saying trans women are men pretending to be women. And these are Blaire White fans. These are dudes who are probably like massive fucking sexually repressed weirdos, okay? The amount of like hatred and derision that people like this on the internet have for trans people doesn't just originate from a place of disgust. It actually originates from a place of shame for a lot of these guys. The ones who are the most obsessed with hating on trans people, it's a place of shame. They feel attraction to trans people, perhaps even a fetishization of attraction towards trans people, and they are ashamed of it. And that shame, they try to sort of pave over with loud vitriolic hate.
Just about me.
That is a lot of Blaire White fans.
And this isn't just about Blaire either. Far-right commentators like Blaire feel that they're free to lie and defame queer and trans people without any repercussions. Trans teachers are being fired from their jobs. Trans teens are losing health care. And trans parents are having their children taken away. In the past, Blaire has acknowledged that she's defamed trans people. However, none of us have tried to take her to court before. So, we're going to change that. In Blaire's video against me, she's made dozens of false statements, ranging from rape to pedophilia to manslaughter. She hasn't apologized yet, even after knowing the statements she made were false. Thankfully, I have all the receipts. While being subject to this video that has 500,000 views.
One thing that I will say is it typically like good practice to announce that you're suing? Because I know that in a lot of cases, we're probably not going to get a lot of details regardless, but like, isn't it typically like, maybe the lawyer said it would be fine. I don't know if they've like spoken to a lawyer yet, like Eli and her team. But like if they have, I feel like a lawyer would say, no, don't make a video about this. But I don't know. I've never sued anybody, nor have I been sued, so I don't really know how this would go. Isn't the person on screen a lawyer? I thought she said she was. Oh, is she a lawyer? Well, in that case, Blaire White fucked with the wrong person.
Might be a little terrifying. I also see it as an opportunity. It's a rare chance that we can actually stop her from harming more people. Some of the allegations she made against me have been made by others before, and each has been disproven on their own. However, her video has some information that she just made up, and she knew was false when she was making the statements. In her video, she claims that I harassed a former partner to suicide. Not only was this person still alive, which is an easily verifiable fact, but Blaire knew that they were alive when she made the video. I messaged her.
Wait, okay, Blaire literally accused this woman of murdering somebody, of like at least manslaughter. Like to literally push somebody into committing suicide, like that's certainly like an actual unironic crime. Blaire falsely lied and accused this woman of multiple crimes, like serious crimes. Now, normally, like if all Blaire did was say, another trans groomer we're covering today, another trans groomer, then like she might have been able to get away with it. But here we're talking like actual unironic allegations, knowingly false allegations of real serious crimes towards another public figure. I remember hearing on Shark's chat that Eli's lawyer had sued Blaire before, and they're going back for seconds. Interesting.
Her, and she responded, but she decided not to mention it. Her actions are beyond humiliating. She didn't just say that I was accused of these things. She said it as though it were a fact. But because of this, it does create the legal grounds for actual malice. That is, knowing her statements were false while she was making them. This is the necessary component.
It's so unfortunate that the stuff that I've already mentioned in this stream, those examples of her knowingly lying to push an agenda that she wants to push, it's so unfortunate that none of those would probably even be admissible in court, you know? I don't think any of those would do anything to prove that Blaire White has a character or history of lying about these things. Like, you couldn't, there's nothing, you wouldn't be able to admit it. You wouldn't be able to use it as part of your case against her, sadly, even though, logically speaking, no, absolutely, that is evidence that Blaire White is a liar.
And for defamation of public figures. And the upside of all of this is that it is a very clear-cut case of defamation. The question isn't if we can win, the question is how much she's willing to concede. Her actions aren't just about me as an individual. This is something much bigger. Jesse Earl calls it the right-wing disinformation pipeline.
How right-wing groups create and generate misinformation. The pipeline that they use.
Everything gets a return, doesn't it, chat? Do you guys remember literally, 2 years ago, year and a half ago, when I was saying there's going to be another anti-SJW wave, there's going to be a new pipeline, there is going to be, down the road from now, there's going to be a bunch of Zoomers making videos about how they fell down the Matt Walsh blah 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 pipeline and got out. Because something you have to realize is a shit ton of the Zoomers falling into this Matt Walsh shit are going to realize they're trans in a couple years. How many of you in chat who are trans were little chuddy little Zoomers, little chuddy Zoomers back in Gamergate? How many of you trans people in my chat realized you were trans after getting out, or realizing you were trans helped you get out of the alt-right rabbit hole back in the day? I've gotten a lot, and I mean a lot, of messages and emails telling me, your videos helped get me out of the alt-right rabbit hole and realize I was trans. And I always love reading messages like that. It's very heartwarming. A lot of people go through that. That trend is not going to stop. A shit ton of these Matt Walsh fans, a shit ton of these, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, whatever they... List the people, right? A ton of these people are going to get older and realize, oh shit, I'm LGBT. And they're going to fall out of it. Guarantee it. That alone will play a big part. That alone will play a big part. Yeah, a lot of the trans people in my chat are even admitting they made attack helicopter jokes at one point back in the day, and now they're literally trans. It's just, yeah, they're gonna grow out of it.
To give seeming validity to discredit and attack marginalized groups and people. A pipeline that literally generates itself all the way up to folks like Tucker Carlson, one of the top right-wing news shows in the world.
Jesse, along with several other content creators, actually researched Blaire's video and disproved nearly every statement in it. Even after Jesse's video received hundreds of thousands of views,
to be fair, it's not that hard to debunk anything Blaire White says. Obviously we're talking about this there, but to be fair, to be very clear, Blaire White is not very smart or very good at lying. That's the thing. Can you imagine lying about your political compass test results and forgetting to close the tab in which you literally Googled search results to find the fake results you were going to use open in your video? She's not a good liar. There's a reason she gets caught and has to apologize every once in a while. And you know why so many people are able to call her out and recognize this. She's just not good at lying. She leaves very obvious evidence of her lying, in her tracks, right?
Refused to respond. So now we're taking her to court. She can't keep making these videos and causing so much trauma in our community. We want to send a message that vulnerable people cannot continue being attacked like this for profit. So that's where you come in. I've retained a trans lawyer, Remy Green, here in New York.
Hi, my name is Remy Green. I'm a civil rights lawyer and I'm representing Eli in this case.
Oh.
Our firm has, shall we say, experience litigating against Miss White. And
I feel like there's a lot of trans lawyers, I feel like. Is there something about being trans that makes, well, actually, to be fair, there is, trans people on average do have higher IQ. Isn't that unironically the case, than cis people? It's not by an insane amount or anything, but just on average, which probably has to do with being more progressive. Like, if you're trans, you're probably going to be more progressive. If you're progressive, you're probably going to be smarter. And if you're smarter, then there's typically not necessarily a correlation like a causation between IQ and intelligence, but like sometimes there's like a reflection, you know? So yeah, I don't know. It's just trans and LGBT people in general just seem to be smarter. Not me, Xander Hall. I'm a doofus. But listen, I'm just talking about the stats, guys. It's just what the stats say.
Winning. Winnable defamation cases are, for very good reasons, extremely rare. You have to clear a very high bar to bring them. But here, Ms. White has elegantly leapt over that bar, and we look forward to showing exactly how.
The initial court cost will be around $60,000. I'm in school and obviously can't afford that. But with community support and the millions of people that want to see this kind of...
Hey guys, that's your cue. This is your cue. Is the video too quiet? I actually can't even... I can use a volume booster to make it louder. Hold on. A volume booster add-on might do it.
kind of disinformation removed from the internet, we can make this possible. Don't get me wrong.
Hold on.
I know that courts aren't always the best place to fix injustices. Courts chronically fail marginalized communities, and the odds have historically been stacked against us. However, Blaire is beyond restorative justice practices. This is a clear case, and Blaire White is weaponizing these same systems against us. She tried to have the DEA arrest me and has called the cops on numerous activists before. All this
Wait, Blaire actually tries to narc? Like, unironically actually tries to narc. How deep is the boot down her throat?
Content for her videos. We're here to say that this can't keep on happening. It's time to put an end to it. Finally, as a community organizer, I want to be as transparent as possible. All funds will be going to Cohen and Greenlaw. If we receive extra, we can actually strengthen our case with additional evidence collection. If they have funds left over after the case, they'll either be used for similar litigation or donated to organizations like the Marsha P. Johnston Institute, Trans Justice Funding Project, and the Okra Project. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this for the message. If you have any questions about this fundraiser or the case, I'm more than happy to answer them. Just let me know in a message or comment.
By the way, the reason why Blaire White would call the DEA on a trans activist is because she thinks that she can, like, get the DEA to crack down on some supposed, like, illegal, like, hormone distribution, like, organization. I guarantee that's why Blaire would have called the DEA. There's no other reason than that, which is possibly the funniest thing ever. It's pathetic, but it's also kind of funny that she would do that. It really just kind of gives you an insight into Blaire White's character. She genuinely is a bad person.
And Blaire, I'll see you in court.
Hot damn. Bringing out the... using Blaire White's own sass against her. That was like a... That's like the way that Blaire White will talk to somebody, you know? Let's hear, what's a good name for somebody that Blaire White would go after? I don't know, like, trans activist number 443 I've covered. I'm coming for you. Like using that kind of vibe against her. I like it. I approve. That gets a thumbs up from me right there. All right, chat. Here is what you must do, or you are all transphobic and will soon be banned from my community. I want you all to go like that video, subscribe, and comment something positive. Like, just comment something positive. You don't need to comment it was from me. Just comment, like, I don't know, like, good luck, or be strong, or like, you're doing a good thing. Just something supportive, all right? Because believe me, when Blaire White responds to this, it is not going to go well for Eli. It is not going to go well. So go drop a like, send support, like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon on the channel, all of those things. And you know what? You should also do all of those things for my channel too. Subscribe, ring the bell icon, turn on all notifications. You can follow my social media, link down below in the description, as well as supporting me financially, or as well, you guys can also do this though. You guys can also donate at Eleric Ehrlich. So Eli Ehrlich. Sorry, I'm really bad when it comes to names, like first and last name made into one word. Eli Ehrlich, all one word, .com/Blaire White is where you can donate to the legal fund. So if you are, say, an oiler or a, some kind of drug kingpin who needs some money to launder, consider donating to that fund, or has some money to launder. Hank! They're selling titty pills, Hank! We gotta stop them! Hank! They're selling black market titty Skittles! Hank! So fucking, it's so dumb. Anyway, listen, go send support or you're transphobic. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.